maximize impact with minimal effort. So today I'm showing you how to master content planning with just one calendar, ensuring your content not only reaches, but will resonate with your audience, turning views into valuable connections. Now, whether you are a seasoned content creator or you're just starting out, having a clear and organized approach can dramatically enhance your productivity and your output. So let's dive into creating a content calendar that aligns with your business, those goals that you've set, and of course, the lifestyle that you're looking for as well. Step one is deciding where to publish. You need to balance long shelf life content that builds deep connections and short shelf life content that keeps your current, or it keeps you current and showing up for those that go to check you out on, let's say, Instagram or Facebook, for instance. Now, long shelf life content would be things like blogs, YouTube videos, podcasts, Pinterest. Any of these can be like your foundation. Why? Because they continue to work for you long after they're published. For example, a YouTube video can attract views and drive leads for years, making it a highly efficient content strategy. Now, here's an example of a schedule. If you chose YouTube as your primary platform, you schedule regular uploads, let's say every Tuesday as an example, and then you repurpose that content. You can convert your video into a blog post. You can create Pinterest pins, and you could even condense, do a condensed version for a podcast if you wanted to. Now, for short life content such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you want to focus on quick, engaging posts, but things that can be batched very quickly, okay? Schedule these to maintain daily and weekly engagement, but without overwhelming you and your calendar. And this is important. Always integrate a call to action in every piece of content that directs viewers or readers to your email list, okay? This helps convert casual traffic into committed followers and potential clients. Now, let's jump over to my computer because I want to show you the process. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by setting up a new Google Calendar. And I want you to name this Content Master, or maybe just Content, whatever makes sense to you. But this is your master calendar for your content, okay? And I've got pulled up here an example, and a lot of this is things that I do. I don't have everything on this example, but I want to just kind of show you how it works. So to create a new calendar, you'll go down to the bottom of all your calendars. And you can see here, I have a lot of calendars. But on the very bottom, where this plus sign is, you click the plus sign, you do create new calendar, and you just name it. And like I say, I've already named mine and already done this. So I'm going to go back and not do this, but you would just type in content. Of course, make sure it's got your time zone and then create, okay? Now, and I'll drop below this video, I'll drop the link, excuse me, to where you can create a Google Calendar if maybe you're new to Google Calendar, all right? So what you're going to do here is, once you can see over here, I've got Content Calendar is actually checked, all right? And what I like to do is I first go in and I want to schedule anything that is, we talked about this in a previous episode when I talked about your commitments and promises. And one of my commitments and promises to my audience is that I have a blog that posts on Mondays, and I have an email that goes out, my newsletter goes out on Mondays. So as you can see here, I've got the blog episode and it shows 6 a.m. This is my time. And then the newsletter, what time it sends. All right. Another part of my commitments and promises is I have a new YouTube that comes out on Thursday, and then my YouTube video publishes on Thursday around 7 a.m. When I was creating my promises, commitments and promises, those went on that calendar, okay? But once I knew that, okay, this is what's going to be and this is how it is. These need to be on my content calendar. I don't want them to be on both because if I were to click commitments and promises, then it would show up twice. Okay, so what I did was I literally, as an example, on email, you click and you edit. And then you just change the calendar right here as to which one you want it to be on. Okay. So super easy to move things from one calendar to another if you're using multiple calendars like I am. Now, like I say, initially, I wanted to make sure that where I was making those promises, that, I mean, I feel like that calendar must be set up first. And because your content, it actually comes, this calendar is after your sales and promotions calendar because you're basing your content based on sales and promotions. Okay. So what I've done here is I've gone in and I've got my emails and I have my blog posts, I have YouTube. For me, my primary content creation is Instagram, YouTube, my blog post, my emails that go to my list. Okay. And then I also have Pinterest, but I outsource that. So it's not on my calendar because it's not my responsibility. Now, I will say this. If you parts of YouTube is not my responsibility, but it's still my responsibility to make sure the content is recorded, right? I mean, I like it's still, you've got to record your own content. So, so it's still on here, even though I outsource the editing of the videos. The rest of it I do myself. Okay, so let's get back to the calendar. This is the important part. So what I want you to do is I want you to go in once you get your calendar created, and I just want you to place in, for instance, I do an Instagram post on Monday mornings. I call it my aha moment. I have a be, it's just literally like be, and then I say whatever it is, be positive, be assertive, be confident, whatever that is. I'll put that in here. I have my affirmation, which goes out on Wednesday. I see there is a typo there. I'll use this as an opportunity to show you how you correct that. And you just come in and make the correction. And then you hit save. And then it's going to ask you this and following, and you say yes. So you've got that done. Okay, so the affirmation goes on Wednesday. My new YouTube episode, I have a Instagram post that lets people know that there's a new YouTube episode, goes out on Thursday, solution fact on Friday, and then I have a freebie that goes out on Saturday. These are posts on Instagram, okay? So what I see where those are, and I know what that, now there are steps to each of these. Okay. This is not like this is not the workflow for everything. This is literally the schedule. Okay. We're just talking about scheduling. Inside my membership, I do give you workflows for all of these. I'll drop the link to the membership below. But basically, this is just like you're creating your calendar and you're just wanting to make sure that you've got everything on the calendar. So then the next thing, like I mentioned, I do YouTube is where everything starts for me. I create one YouTube video a week. That YouTube then becomes a blog post for the following Monday. Well, the YouTube, my list gets an email about that. Then when the blog post goes, my list gets an email about that. So there's those two emails. And then in addition to that, of course, I have social media. I do some with Facebook, but both within my group and then on my personal profile. I did not add this as an example for today. I didn't want it to be like overwhelming with too many things, but I want to show you the basic setup for how this works. Okay, so on Monday, the first week of the month, I like to batch YouTube. This is batching the prep part. Okay, so batch YouTube prep 5 episodes. Okay, so I've got that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, and same thing. Whatever that is for you, I want you to decide when do you do that. I normally do this the first week of the month. For December, the first week happens to Monday works, okay? But if the first of the week was a Wednesday, let's just say the first day was a Wednesday, then of course I, would move that, I would bump all of this to the next week because I like to do it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I want to prep everything that I need for those 5 episodes. And that includes scripting. So that's why I've got so many days for it because there's a lot of prepping. Most of the work, actually, I would say the majority of the work for YouTube actually happens on these 3 days. But what's cool about it is it's literally 10 to 10:45. It's not my whole day. That's what I want to point out. This is a very, small portion of your day. So then the next week I come in, you can see there are things across the top that are the same, Instagram, all of those things. This is all pre-scheduled. Okay. Those things are pre-scheduled. But down here, I've got to batch record 5 episodes. So I will batch record 5 episodes on Monday and Tuesday. I've got that repeating. I want to show you how this works. So if I come in, you can see it repeats monthly on the second Monday. Okay. So if the month falls differently at the end of each month, I look at the next upcoming month and I just drag and drop and adjust things where they need to go. I also do that based on any holidays that are happening, any special events for our family, and you certainly need to and can do the same. Okay. So got that in here. And then the next thing for me is to outline the copy for my blog post. I call it Mastering What Matters. And so I do that on Wednesday and then Thursday. I'll be honest, I don't do a whole lot, usually on Thursdays, because at noon, my grandson comes over and then he's here for the whole afternoon. So, but this one Thursday of the month, I do keep that blocked off that morning before he gets here. I keep that blocked off for working on those episodes. Then the next week is when I batch for social media. And that is, I give it 3 days, and that's because I am actually doing 5 weeks of social media and getting all of that work batched. That includes Instagram and Facebook for me. And then the last week is when I schedule the YouTube. The reason YouTube is bumped, even though I recorded it a couple of weeks ago, I bump it to later because I'm waiting on those recordings to be edited by my YouTube editor. Okay, she's awesome. She does a great job. I hope that she's listening to this as she's editing this video. But my point is, she gets it back to me pretty quick, but I like to give her plenty of time. So I don't schedule to actually schedule my YouTubes until, later in the month. And then from there, once I get that done, then I'm ready. Once those are scheduled, because I have to have the links, right? I have to have the links to those YouTubes in order to schedule the emails. So the next thing I do is I'm going to batch my emails for those 5 episodes. And then same thing, my blog, the lady that kind of pulls the blog together after I give her the copy, she's really great about pulling that together fairly quickly. But again, I want to make sure I have to have those links. And so then I batch the emails for those 5 episodes as well. That's what I do month after month. Okay. So this is all of my content. This is what I want you to understand is that you get everything on here so that just like what I just explained about the YouTube, it gives you a place to lay it out because you're thinking about what happens first, what happens next. Now, what comes after that? Okay. Now, one thing I want to show you is when you come in, and this is just an example, but a lot of this I teach inside, like I say, Vision Mastery Accelerator, and then also Vision Mastery and also Business Mastery. When you start adding in your other calendars, okay, and you start adding all of these things in, I want you to see how it starts filling up with all the different things that are going on. And this is why it is so important that you get things on a calendar so that you can see what needs to happen when. And the reason I like the multiple calendar process is because when you're working on one thing in particular, this is almost overwhelming, right? And you can, you want to, it can almost be like, oh, this is crazy. Well, it's really not when you go back and you do it piece by piece, which is what I teach inside my programs. Now, what I want to do is I want to take off just for grins and giggles these two and let you see that projects and any personal development, professional development, like going through courses and those type of things that I do, those are all afternoon activities for me. When I don't have projects going on, which is a big part of the year, and I'm not actively, working inside, going through a new course and implementing that information, my afternoons are free. When I finish my social profit session at 11 a.m. right here, you can see, then it's time for lunch and I'm through. I'm literally, the rest of the day is mine to just do, what I want and when I want, with my family, of course, included in that. So I just want to point out that, this is why it's so great. Like, you get to decide how you want your calendar to look. Okay. And like I say, that's why this particular series that I've done for you. There were 5 videos in this series, and I'll link to all those videos below so that you can go back and check out the full series. But we've talked about many of the things within what you're seeing here. And it's so important that you get these things on a calendar so that you're ready, to actually follow through and then just put your head down, get the work done, and get on with life, right? Have fun with your business, but you don't want to just be putting out fires and, constantly chasing yourself, trying to figure out, the Monday morning comes, it's like, what comes now? What do I need to do? Well, now what do I need to do? That type of thing. All right, so let's go up here. Let me show you, another thing. You can do it by the month. And what I love about this is when you do it by the month, I've got it scheduled by the month here. So when you pull up the month, you can look at everything that you've got for the month. So if I switch over to January, just so you can see, I've already adjusted for January because usually between December and January, that last between, Christmas and New Year's is kind of crazy. So I've already adjusted, and you can see that, I told you I normally batch YouTube on the first, whoops, that jumped to February. Sorry about that. I normally do YouTube on the first Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Well, the first Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the first Wednesday is actually January 1st. So I moved that down to the 8th because I'm also, I want to start when there's a full week. So my January will actually start January 6th. So I'll basically have off that week from the 30th to the week of the 30th. And this is by design, okay? It's by choice. And so you get to make those decisions in your business as well. And one thing, only last thing I want to add, I want you to go in here and I want you as you're going in and you're adding everything to your calendar, we'll switch it back to the week now. I just want to say, please, 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 make sure that if TikTok is part of your plan, add it in here. If Facebook's part of your plan, add it in here. Anything like that, I want you to add in, okay? And again, this is so that you're not overcommitting. You're looking and you're saying, okay, this is what I've got to do. So, will it fit into my calendar? So if a new social media platform comes out, or someone says, oh, you should be doing, YouTube, like I feel everyone should be doing YouTube. Let's say you hear me say that. And you're like, okay, I'll start it. I'm going to start YouTube. Well, will it fit into your plan? Will it fit on your calendar with what you've got scheduled? All right. Lastly, the last thing I'll say is don't forget to schedule quarterly reviews of your content calendar. This is so you can adjust and optimize. And this is all done based on performance and audience feedback, but it's also based on what's working for you. Okay, what's working for you and where do you need to adjust to make things work more smoothly. It's always a work in progress. None of this is ever set in stone. It's all can be, slipped and literally as easy as drag and drop. For instance, if I want to move YouTube down here, it's going to ask me, do you want to do this for all? And I can say, yeah, let's do this for this and following events. Okay, it's moved. So when I go to the next week, it's moved. Then I'm like, nope, you know what, that didn't work. I'm going to put it back. I'm moving this back up here to where it was. And I'm like, nope, you know what? It just works better there. So you can come in and adjust as you need to. Now, lastly, don't forget to schedule your quarterly reviews of your content calendar to adjust and optimize based on performance and audience feedback. Now, today we have streamlined your content creation process using one master calendar, empowering you to produce consistent, quality content that builds your brand and attracts more leads. By focusing on long shelf life content and then supplementing with strategic short form posts, you set yourself up for that ongoing success without burning out. Remember, effective content planning is about working smarter and not harder. So if you're ready now to take your business to the next level, I want you to check out my $7 membership, Vision Mastery Accelerator. This is where I dive deeper into strategies that help you organize your business for maximum efficiency and profitability. I'll drop the link down below in the description, but it'll also pop up here on the screen for you.